Okay, so we did that hot mess here. I'm stapling that to the front. And let's turn it over to the back now. Now what they're saying is, here it is. You can pick whatever way you want. You can either factor it and then solve, which I highly recommend. Or you can do that list of synthetic division, long division, synthetic substitution, and those two I think are a boo. Or you can do the reverse box. I think synthetic division and reverse box will be the most popular. But in order to do these, you have to use the rational root theorem. The rational root theorem is that PQ method that we'll go over. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, can I factor it? Okay, well there's like a bunch of them. And I can't do factor by grouping because factor by grouping there's 4 and there's no other types of factoring. So I have no choice. I have to do synthetic, long, synthetic, or reverse. Okay? In order to do that, I need to figure out my possibilities. So the 5 represents my P and this 1 represents my Q. So I need to list all the things that divide by 5. Plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 5. And then I do all the things that divide by Q, which is plus or minus 1, but that's already there. So these are my only possible whole number and fraction answers that could work. I could get a bunch of decimals, but these are the only possible whole numbers that I could use. Okay? Now, these are the possible roots. Oh, I guess here. So let me put that down. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 5. That's my PQ. It doesn't mean those are it. It just means it's my possible. So now I can choose what I want to do. Synthetic or reverse box. I prefer synthetic because I think it's easier and quicker. So I'm going to try 1 first. 1, negative 8, 18, negative 16, 5. Okay? What do? Bring down the 1. Diagonal, vertical. Diagonal, vertical. Oh, 11. Diagonal, vertical. Diagonal, vertical. Ah, look at that. I got one of the roots. So one of the roots is 1. There are 4 roots. I got one of them. That means I have 3 left. X cubed minus 7x squared plus 19x minus 5. So now I tried 1. Maybe I'll try negative 1. So now I'm going to go negative 1. And I'm not going to go to my original. I'm going to go to my new. So 1, negative 7, 19, negative 5. Bring it down. Diagonal, multiply, vertical, add. Diagonal, multiply, vertical, add. Diagonal, multiply. Nope, negative 1 doesn't work. So now all that's left are 5 and negative 5. I'm going to try 5. 1, negative 8. Oops, shoot, I'm going back to my original. Go to my new, go to my new. So here's what I would do. In the beginning, I would go, oh, cool, that's there. But now I need to focus here. 1, negative 7, 19, negative 5. All right. This has got to be second nature. Bring it down. Diagonal, multiply, vertical, add. Diagonal, multiply, vertical, add. Wait, I feel like I messed up somewhere. Hold on one sec. Going too fast. All right, some of you are already noticing my issues. That's an 11. So that should be an 11. So that should be a 1. And that should be a 5, 0. Yay, it worked. I have 2 zeros. All right. I'm supposed to have a total of 4 zeros. I found 2 of them, so I have 2 left. That means that's x squared minus 2x plus 1. I could keep going on synthetic. But the thing is that for me, I don't want to do that because I can factor. 2 numbers that multiply, 2 numbers that add. Oh, set that equal to 0. That's 1. Oh. But it's both 1, so it's like 1 with a bounce. So I'm going to go 1 with a bounce. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Total of 4 roots. What kind of roots are they? Real. If I was to graph this thing, 1, 5, let's see, oops. Wow, that's like a triple bounce. Okay. Let me make sure I'm good on that. So it's not a bounce because there's actually 3 1s. So I want to show you what it'll look like. Remember when it's kind of cubic, it goes like that. Okay. So just to kind of show you where it's going to go, I'm not as concerned about the graphing part, just the 1 and the 5. All right, let's look at number 2. So I have an option. I can either factor it or I can do any of this stuff. If I do any of this stuff, I got to know some rules. So I'm going to try factoring first. There's 4 of them. 4 of them means I can do factor by grouping, and I am all about factor by grouping. Okay? Oh, you know what? I need to go back, and I didn't put it in factored form. So q of x equals x minus 1. There's actually 3 of them times x minus 5. And I'll know I'll be good to go because I'll graph this on Desmos and this on Desmos, and they should be on top of each other. Okay? So now this one, I take out what they both have. So I'm going to do, just because I know some of us aren't as good at doing GCF, so I take out x squared, and I'd be left with x minus 1. And then if I did negative 7x minus 7, okay, I can take out a negative 7x, and then I'm left, a negative 7, and then I'm left with x plus 1. So some of us are also good. We can do this in our head. So it's x squared, x minus 1. Ooh, this is a mean one. I wonder if I messed up. Gosh, I'm having a hard time. This should have been a plus 7 in the problem. So if that was a plus 7, let me just redo it. I'm not feeling good about this. One sec. Yeah, I'll just do it this way. So if I take that out, and then this would be a negative 7x minus 1. And then the match is x minus 1. And then what's left goes here. Set it equal to 0. Can I factor that anymore? I can't. So since I cannot factor it anymore, it is done, and it is in factored form. Possible roots, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 7. Zeros, set it equal to 0, 1. And plus or minus rad 7. How did I get that? Square root, and we're good. How many total roots? 3. What is it? Cubic. Now, some of you go, I'm not good at factor by grouping. I wouldn't have seen it. I'm going to have to do something else. Okay, let's say I'm not good at factoring. I'm going to have to either do synthetic, long, synthetic substitution, and reverse box. We did synthetic division in the last problem, so I will reverse box. So let's go to my possible roots. My possible roots are plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 7. Okay? So I'm going to try 1 first. If I try 1 and I think 1 is a factor, and I'm going to use the reverse box method, then I have to know that's x minus 1. Okay? And then I'm going to take my original problem, which is x cubed minus x squared minus 7x plus 7. And 1, 2, 3. First one goes here. Last one goes there. 1 second, I'll do it. So I reverse boxed it. There's 7. I was supposed to get 7. So yes, x minus 1 is a possibility, which means I got one of the factors. If it's to the 3rd power and I got one of them, I have 2 left. What am I left with? X squared minus 7. At this point, I could reverse box it again, but I wouldn't get anything that would work out perfectly, so I would set it equal to 0. X squared equals 7, square root, plus or minus 7. Okay? Now, this is not easy. I'm going kind of quickly on this, but this is why the Zooms this week are going to be crucial. Okay? Let me make sure letter C is actually where I want it to be first before we do it. So I changed letter C. All right. So factored form. Factored form means we need to be able to factor. So right now, I can't factor. I can only do grouping if there were 4 of them. So if that wasn't there, that might be a possibility. Any other type of factoring, I can't do. Which means I have to do that rational root theorem, the PQ method, where this is my P and this is my Q. All the possible roots, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 6. Okay? So I have a choice. I can do all of them by long division. I can do synthetic division. I can do synthetic substitution. And I could do reverse box. Now, remember, the disadvantage of synthetic substitution is that all it does is it tells you the roots. In this one up here, when we found a root, we now had a smaller number. If we found the root using synthetic substitution and was like, oh, 1 works, we would still have to go back to this bigger polynomial. And then once we figured it out, again, we went to a smaller one and a smaller one. So I either encourage reverse box or synthetic division. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it based on synthetic division, and then I will, on a separate piece of paper, do reverse box so you can see it. Okay? So I'm going to start with 1, and I'm just going to go through, just because I want to make sure that you're solid. Okay? Bring it down. 1. Diagonal multiply, vertical add, diagonal multiply, vertical add, diagonal multiply, vertical add, diagonal multiply, vertical add. Boom, I found one of the roots. Okay, I found one of them. There are 4, that means I have 3 left. Okay, now I'm going to go, I'd rather factor. But I know if I do factor by grouping, this is a 1, 2, and this is a 5, 6. It will not continue on that trend. Okay, so now I've used 1. Now I'll try negative 1. But this time, instead of using this to get this one, I'm going to now use this smaller one because then that's less for me to do. So I'm going to go 1, 2, negative 5, negative 6. What do? Bring down the 1. Diagonal, multiply, vertical, add. Diagonal, multiply, vertical, add. Diagonal, multiply, vertical, add. Oh my gosh, what do you know? I got another root. I'm not always going to be this lucky, by the way. So I had 3. Now I took out 1, now I'm left with 2. X squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Honestly, I could keep doing synthetic division, but when I see this, I think magic x. Negative 6 and 1, 3 and negative 2, x plus 3, x minus 2, means my other 2 zeros are negative 3 and 2. So how many total roots do I have? 4. What are my zeros? Plus or minus 1, negative 3, and 2. How would I put that in factored form? I go backwards. Let me do q of x equals, doesn't matter the order, x minus 1, x plus 1, x plus 3, and x minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to pause it real quickly and do the... Actually, I'll start the reverse box, and then I'll pause and start again. So I'm going to pick one. So I think one of the factors is x minus 1. We're not always going to be this lucky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go x to the 4th is x cubed minus 7x squared minus x plus 6, because I'd rather write it down first, last. Now I'm going to pause. So I did my reverse box, got my 6. Hey, I'm supposed to get 6. So yes, this is a factor. Yes, when I set it equal to 0, it is a root. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is now this will be my new answer, and I will this time try x plus 1. So this time I'm going to go x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 6 and see if x plus 1 works. So I got negative 6. I was supposed to get negative 6. So this is another factor, which means that's my root. And look what I'm left with. X squared plus x minus 6, which is what I was here. I could do another reverse box, or I could magic X it and get my 2 answers. Okay? All right, let's get to the homework I'll do in the next video.